Hey y'all, so jumping straight into this video, this is lace series number 1, episode 1. Today I'm going to show you how to bleach knots on the lace frontal. A lot of people don't know what that means. So basically what that means is to turn the frontal over and you're going to bleach the knots where the hair is connected to the lace. When you bleach the knots, the hair that is against your scalp lays more flawlessly and it leaves a more realistic scalp look, versus if you don't bleach the knots, it kind of looks like you have like you have polka dots at your scalp. So I'm going to show you how to get rid of those polka dots at your scalp. Today I'm going to use my 18-inch lace frontal, and I'm using 3 bundles, a 20, a 22, and a 24. And yeah, let's get straight into it. Okay guys, so when you start, you're going to want to have an adequate work area like this. When you have a clean work area and you start out with all your tools and stuff around you, it'll cut out a lot of frustration. So when you first start, you want to take your lace, before you bleach the knots, you want to take your lace and make sure the hair is out the way. Can you guys see this? I'm going to start on this side. You're going to take the lace and just cut the corner. And the reason you're going to do this is going to be your piece of lace that you take and do a texture with, because this is not too far from my color, but it's not my color. So I am going to tint my lace before I bleach my locks, just because when you tint the lace, you're going to tint the knots. So you want to tint then bleach. Okay, so this is a piece of lace that I tinted and it is clearly too dark for me, so I am going to redo my tinting. And this is the reason you want to take a piece and not the whole lace, because if you take the whole lace, that means you just ruined your whole lace, because this is way too dark. So I'm going to redo it again and try to use a little less product and more water, and I'll be right back with you guys. Okay, so after several attempts to tint the lace, I realized that the lace was too dark for me to tint. So instead of tinting the lace, I'm just going to go ahead and use makeup instead. This is going to allow me to get the best blend between the lace and my skin. If the lace is too light or too dark for you, you're more than welcome to go ahead and tint it, but I decided not to tint mine this time. Okay, so moving on to step 2. After you have tinted your lace, if you decided to tint your lace, you're going to move on to bleaching the knots on your frontal. So what you want to do, you want to start by mixing your 30 volume developer and your lightening powder together. And when you do this, you want to make sure the mixture is like a toothpaste. You want it to be thick. You don't want it to be thin and runny, because if you do, it's going to seep through the lace and it's going to bleach more than just the roots. It's going to bleach your frontal, and that's going to be one hell of a problem to try to fix if you have a black frontal and blonde roots. So you want to try and make it as thick as possible so that the mixture stays on one side of the lace. Also, when you are doing this, you want to make sure that you are not pushing the product through the lace. You want to just lightly tap and make sure that the product stays on one side of the lace, because like I said, if you do not and you push it through the lace, you're going to have blonde roots, and that's a problem you just don't want to have. So I'm just going to follow suit and see how I'm lightly tapping. You want to tap, you make sure it's getting on there, but you want to tap it. Another thing is I always like to start in the front of my frontal, because that is what people pay most attention to. So if anything, you want to make sure you get that first and foremost. If you do not have time to sit and really take your time and do this, I do not suggest you do it. You just need to wait and be patient and do it at a time where you have the time to sit and take the steps needed to do this correctly, because for one, frontals are not cheap. And for two, who wants to take all their time doing something and you end up messing up the whole frontal because you were rushing? So it's very easy to mess up your frontal. It's very easy to do mistakes if you're rushing. So I just suggest that if you are in a rush or you have things you need to do and you're trying to do all of this at once, you need to plan ahead and either do this before or just wait and do it after. So what you see me doing now is just spreading the lightener and mix all over the frontal. And at this point, you're pretty much done with lightening the knots. You just have to sit and wait until it processes. So you want to make sure everything is covered, because if you're going to wear a frontal for what a frontal is for, which is versatile styles, you just want to make sure you get it all over. But like I said, you need to take your time and do this, because it is so easy. It's so easy, y'all, to mess up your frontal, and then you just gonna be messed up, because you're gonna have to buy another one or take steps to do what it takes to fix it. Another pro tip I learned was you always want to bleach the knots before you pluck. And let me tell you this is because when you're doing your hairline, you very well may get a little bit of bleach in the front, right where the edges are at on the other side of your frontal, and you don't want to worry about those. So if you pluck before you bleach the knots and you get bleach in the front, you might have to go back with some semi-permanent black hair dye and try to avoid getting it on the lace. But if you bleach the knots first and then you pluck, those little hairs that you got in the front that are kind of blonde, really won't make a difference, because you're probably 9 times out of 10 going to end up going through and plugging those out anyway. So that's another pro tip I wanted to tell you guys. And what you see me doing here now is I'm basically turning it over and making sure that I just got the lightener and developer mixture on the lace part and not, on the wrong side. So I'm just going through and I'm checking and I'm making sure that I didn't press down too hard on my lace to where the product is seeping through. So now you're going to take your foil and you're just going to fold it, and you're going to lay another piece of foil on top of it. And what this does is kind of speed up the lightening process, so you're not waiting all day for it to process. And like I said, I use a 30 volume developer. You are more than welcome to use whatever you want. I don't suggest a 40, and the reason I don't suggest a 40 is because a 40 is so high, and I'm a licensed cosmetologist, so I know about color, and 40 volume developer is just ridiculous. Like, it's going to take you 4 levels from where you're at now. So it just, if you're using virgin hair, there is no reason for you to use 40, because you don't need your knots that light. So I'm using a 30, and if you feel like this is your first time and it might process too fast, you can go ahead and use a 20, but nothing lower than 20, and for me, nothing higher than 30. So you're going to take your timer, you're going to set it for 30 minutes and let it sit. You're going to be checking it every 15 minutes in between. You're going to come back. Once it's done, you're going to grab your Shimmer Light shampoo, and what this does is it just kind of tones the brassy, I can't talk today, the brassy tones out of the frontal, so it doesn't look like you have an orange scalp. So what I like to do is I like to take it and I like to spread it all over my lace, and I just take the back of my comb and kind of smooth it in as if I'm painting a cake. And I also let this sit and soak, not too long, because you don't want your knots to be purple, but you definitely don't want an orange scalp. So you're going to take it and you're going to spread it and you're going to let it sit for 5 to 10 minutes, depending on preference. I say if you're a little on the darker side, you can let it sit for 5 minutes. If you're a little on the lighter side, you can let it sit for 3 minutes. So you're just going to keep spreading until you have your complete frontal covered. You can find this shampoo at your local beauty supply store. I know they have a generic version, but I really see no point in buying a generic version, because this version is the same. It's not expensive. So I mean, if you want to pay $2 for it and you want to get the generic version, so be it. But if you have $10 to spare, $7 to spare, I suggest you go ahead and go with the original one. I'm an original type of girl. So once you are done, this is what your knots should look like. They should look very toned. They shouldn't look orange and brassy. Sometimes you see people with a frontal and it's like really, really orange and brassy, and you like, girl, nope, that's not real. So you want it to look very close to your skin color and your scalp color. You don't want it to be super bright and super light. So if you did everything right and you followed the steps, your frontal should look like this. If it does not, you either you didn't follow suit, you did something wrong, or it's the type of hair you have. So I'll see you guys on the next episode. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on social media at Jadoremae on Instagram, and it's _ Chelsea May on Snapchat. I will also link that in the description box below, and I will see you guys on episode 2. Thanks for watching. Bye.